I'm broken.
But,
like I'm at 73% efficiency. I think I'm pretty good. I can grasp concepts. I'm pretty armless, and
so what are
I
your
might go
habits?
off on a limb. Hello and welcome to the Dammslap podcast, season 3. Today, I am joined by a friend of the show and a content creator by the name of Mathys, everybody. Burghgraef, yes, I don't want to butcher his name. You guys know how I'm really good at that. Most importantly, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. I just finished IB exams. Our school decided to do the exam route because of Corona, and it was an absolute pain. So some people got like a free pass, but the international school of The Hague, decided to do the exam route, and everyone was just so broken about it. But it's over now, so it's all good.
So it's over. So you finished your exams. How were the exams with all this COVID stuff? I mean, considering IB being one of the international baccalaureate diploma program being one of the most excellent.
Yeah,
it's like
it's very intense. It's a very intense course. No, the exams were fine. It was rumored that they were gonna become very lenient on the exam and the content they were gonna ask. Like it was gonna be like more easier to do. But then a lot of bio papers, physics papers were extremely difficult, I heard. So apparently it wasn't that easy as they said it was going to be.
To be honest, that's never how.
No.
If your uni, school, academy, whatever tells you, oh, it's going to be an easy exam,
It's really normal.
don't do that.
Don't
fall for it, man.
Yeah.
They're trying to lower the GPA. So, but like, I mean, first of all, since you introduced the IB, right, that you did, did you personally enjoy this experience?
Well, given that I repeated a year, it was less fun experience. But it pays off. Like it gets you into a lot of universities. It's just a good course to do, but it just takes a lot of effort and discipline, which not everyone has, and I was one of those people.
To be honest, like when I did IB, you know, it's like, yes, it does open so many doors for you and everything.
It does.
There are also some other courses that call themselves IB that don't open any doors.
Yeah.
Like you end up at the same level as everyone else, and then you sweatband, right, for a whole 2 years to get nothing. So I mean, ultimately, I don't know. It depends on how you take it, right? But for the audience, the main reason why I brought you here today is not only because you're a fellow IB survivor, right? Like.
Yeah.
But most importantly, because you create content and music content.
Yep.
If you guys don't already know him, you should. But yeah, so I want to first walk through your music career, right?
Yeah. Career.
Well, I mean, you can call it a
Again.
career. I mean, so you started, that I know of, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you started making music in high school?
Yeah, year 10, so that is 4 years ago, because I spent another extra year in high school, but when I was 14, I think I started. My first project, I thought it was so sick, I was like, wow, this sounds really good, and then I listen back to it now, it's just like, no.
Hey, but that shows development, that's one thing. Like,
yeah, no, definitely, like, I developed my sound and my, like, I stopped making beats, because it became repetitive, so I went into techno and house music and all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
D&B as well.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like when you were making it, was it more for fun, or did you have like a trajectory in mind to where you wanted to go?
Oh no, it was definitely for fun. It was also a way of postponing doing schoolwork.
Oh yeah, same. The podcasting,
Same.
definitely
Yeah,
time
yeah,
consuming.
yeah.
Oh,
Very
for
much
anyone who
really
doesn't know, my sidekick Toy definitely.
Oh yes, hello everyone.
Will be
David
fact
forgot
checked.
to introduce me. Yes.
Yes, thank you for joining us as well.
Motherfucker.
Yes, I love you.
Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, so you did it for fun, right? So it was initially but you found your interest in music already. So you knew that was the sort of field you wanted to have your hobby be aligned with.
Yeah, it's definitely like what I aspire to do when I'm older, but I don't have the balls to ditch like academic learning, like studying law, because I feel like that brings me a lot more safety in my future than going to a music school, because it's very narrow and very a very direct path, or a narrow path you want to head in. So you automatically get put into this like music category and nothing else. And obviously you can do a bachelor on the side, or you can do another bachelor. but I don't have that patience, discipline, and yeah, I just lack all of those skills.
I mean, ultimately, the reason why I asked that is because, like, starting a hobby in high school, some people see it as like, if you start in high school, you're set because you already know what it is and you already know how to go about it. I think that's the biggest lie. Like, I mean, think about it like this. It's like, if I started podcasting in high school, I might have just not continued it because I thought either it was stupid, too expensive, the people in my high school weren't collaborating with me. So that leads me to the next question. Is like, when you started making music, did you immediately get attracted to other people in the network that you had, right? So in high school, to other people that made content such as music or video production.
Yeah, it was in ish. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in a different year. But I felt like making music was very niche. Like it was very like I felt like I was the only one at that in year 10 at that time that was making music, and then. I'm not calling myself a trendsetter because obviously people didn't find out about making beats or using
the Bryce Hall of music.
Yeah, I wasn't that. Obviously, people can find out about making music in different ways, but it was such a small thing, and now I feel like everyone is kind of making and contributing their little like creations to
I mean, I like that you said that about my year because I had the privilege, let's say, of having some really talented people in my year who, like, I don't think they started earlier, but I think they did it because they liked doing it and they just liked doing it as a hobby. Now, I can't say that some of them didn't do it just for the money. And that's what I mean. It's like some people sign up for their hobbies and try to make money out of it immediately. And it's like, if you make money out of it immediately, you're either doing stocks or you're doing it wrong. Like that's pretty much it. Like this is not Dogecoin. This is like Elon is not involved. It's just the production. Like I'm thinking about the podcast production. It's like if I started and
actually the same thing goes to photography. Like I started photography like 3 to 4 years ago, and like if you want to sell your photos, it has to be very epic. Like.
You have to be unique, very original.
Exactly. Like you
stand out.
Like people can really see a story coming out of it. Otherwise, otherwise like it's gonna be like UK from yesterday. Like they got 0 for everything.
Exactly.
What a shame.
Bro, savage.
And like that's also the reason why like a lot of artists like make a certain type of genre. Like if you specialize in one type, that's your sound. Like that's how you recognize. It's like your selling point. Your motto is like. You could, but you cannot become a D&B artist and then a techno artist and then a pop artist at the same time. Because people wouldn't be able to identify like what is your sound and what is not your sound.
I mean, think about like legends, right? The most iconic legends. I'm thinking of like Deadmau5 or Skrillex, like from my days, I guess. Yeah. But it's like those people.
Skrillex made the dubstep.
Exactly. So I mean, when you think about like their style, it's so iconic that like even now, if I listen to a Deadmau5 song I've never heard, I might just recognize that it's him. But to go back to the selling point, I mean, did you ever think of selling your beats to people?
I tried with BeatStars, but there was this issue with my bank card, and I had to verify my identification, and again that lack of discipline comes in. So then I just released something. I made a Spotify account, and you pay a distributor. It's called DistroKid, I think, and then they put your music on Spotify, and then you get like 0.0043 euros per stream. So that if you have like 10k streams, you would have 43 euros.
Wow!
Absolute money making.
I mean, that's the thing, but as you said, people don't subscribe to content because of the one banger. People subscribe for the quality that differentiates the product. And it's like, to draw it back to the high school experience. So, did you ever make content with other people from the high school community?
So many times, but it's so difficult because I have a studio in my room, and then you would like organize a session, and you would just like put on a beat on the software, and then you'd have random people rap over it. But you never release it, and if you release it on SoundCloud, it gets like 300 plays. If it's like okay, decent song. If it's extremely good, you'll get discovered. But it's very hard for amateur artists to collaborate and make something good. Like it's like 1 in a million chance that you're gonna blow up with that song.
Exactly, but I mean, that's the thing. It's like you make productions with other people, but did they have a similar genre to what you were making, or did you kind of bend to like make it work?
I feel like a lot of people started with beats because it's very simple. You put a hi-hat and a pattern, you put a snare, you put a kick and a bass drum.
Oh, you make it sound easy, man. Like I know nothing.
It sounds a lot harder than it really is. Like
I mean,
once you get the
podcasting
gist.
sounds a lot harder than it is until you have a PhD in podcasting. So I mean, I understand. You get me? It's like once you're at the level where you're at, like years of experience, then it almost comes natural to you. But did you ever, like, you know, amalgamate to other people's styles?
I think it comes back to the beat thing. Like everyone starts in my friend group started making beats, like Patrick Bots,
Bots,
known as Bots. Young Dan from your year started making beats, and like if you find each other in that genre, like you really connect, and then you can really start to put out like good quality music. Because Young Dan's beats are really good, Patrick's beats are insane. You put those together and you get like a really good, get good content.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's like this goes to the next topic, which would be your own content, right? So recently, you released a lot of content, right? Like I think you released 2 songs.
Yeah.
And promoted it, but I think Quarantune and Blue, right? Quarantune, like I literally discovered it because other people in my network were listening to it, right? And then I discovered it, I was like, yeah, this is a banger, and then it was like, oh, this is Mathys. So I was like, oh, no way. But it's like, I think that's the thing. Once you release a song that people appreciate, do you feel the pressure of releasing again?
Not at the moment. I get a lot of compliments, which I'd call it motivation rather than pressure. Like I just reached I think 10K on Blue, released in like December or November.
You know where to find it, Spotify?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, like people are liking this, and like I get daily analytics, and I'm like, okay, wow, it's doing well. And Quarantune has like I think 2K now in like 2 months. So that kind of motivates me. If I didn't get those views, I don't think I would have be as motivated to release more.
But that's the thing. Are you planning, like, do you have a schedule in mind when you think about your production, or do you just go with the wind and kind of see what sticks?
I tend to scroll through samples and listen to like literally any type of music. It goes from like Arabic national music to classical music. If there's a cool sample I find, I cut it, put it into a song, and I just go with the flow. I don't really have a master plan right beforehand. I think that's the way I work.
Nice. And have you sold like a beat, for example, ever since high school?
I've sold one for like 10 euros, but I was like in year 11, and it was like not on BeatStars. It was like a guy that found me on like I think SoundCloud, and I was like, oh, your beat, and I was like, okay, you can have it for like 10 euros, because I didn't put that much effort into it. I was like, you can just have it.
I mean, and also when you're young, like it's hard to put a value on a product.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like some people
you don't know the market.
Exactly, and that's ultimately what it boils down to, is like knowing the market and the effort and what that effort is worth. So I mean, you know, the pricing right now would definitely be shifted, but I think it's like you see some artists who see what sticks and then they copy their old work and they just kind of regurgitate it over and over and over and they put it as a different selling point. But if you really boil it down, it's still the same shit. And that's one thing that like really, really bothers me. But besides that, it's like, so your academic years, right? So you have the International School of The Hague, which, as we said, had some cool people in it, right? It had some cool artists that kind of...
A lot of talent. Surprisingly.
Not that many like content producers, video content producers, but a lot of sound guys.
There's a lot of singing as well. There's so many girls and like.
Oh really? I don't know about any of them.
Yeah, there's some people in Ish right now that participated in The Voice of Holland.
Oh. Yeah. Tell the names. Like, I'm gonna shout them out. So
I forgot the names, but and also one was reposted by this really famous singer. But like, there's quite some singing talent in the international community.
That's epic. That's actually epic. But like. That's the thing, you were unlucky enough to get caught in the COVID pandemic bullshit in the final year, and as you said, like the exams were ridiculous, right? But like with the uncertainty and everything, would you say that all of that played a role in your production, like making music? Were you allowed to make more music, or were you more stressed
during
about
quarantine, like last year? Oh, that's when I thrived, like not like quality-wise, but like quantity-wise. Like I made so much music. I think I've made around like 10 songs during quarantine, but they're not released yet, and they're listening back to them now, they sound absolutely terrible.
I mean, but look, I always say this about artists as well, it's like, if you make something good, you should hate it, because, I mean, look, for example, right, Roy, it's like, when we edit a video, right, by the end of the video, we hate it. Like there's not.
that's
we know
how,
it
that's
by
how
heart.
the next podcast can be better than the previous one.
Exactly, but like for editing.
No,
for
like
example.
for real. Like I also hate my photos a lot. Like a lot. Like when I first shot some photos, and
You do photography?
yeah,
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a
yeah, that's
professional
when
photographer.
I first shot the photos, and
Yeah.
when I looked at it like immediately, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But, like after 3 days, I would see it.
Because you improve and you see like how bad your previous
Yeah,
work
I would
was.
see it and I was like, oh shit, this
Yeah.
is trash. Like literally yesterday, I told David, yeah, I want to look for some epic photos
Yeah.
in my camera to upload.
Yeah.
I checked every single one of them. None of them is not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but the thing is, then he shows me, and I'm like, that one's cool, that one's cool,
That's
that
what
one's
that's
cool.
what I'm saying. You need professional feedback. Like you
Yes.
cannot feedback your own work because if you like when I make beats or like make any type of music, you sit behind your computer for I think the longest I've spent in like one day, I think like 10 hours straight, and you just listen and listen over it, and it just becomes so shit. It sounds so terrible, but then you have someone else listen to it, and then they're like, oh, "This is good. This is good music," and then. Like, okay, well, you don't really trust their opinion because they're not musicians. So like, professional feedback is very important.
Exactly. But I mean, I guess that's one of the main reasons why people choose to go to movie making academy or whatever. Not movie making, sound engineering or making a platform or something like that. Is because it's like you find this network of people who think exactly like you, right? However, I think I've gathered enough information to make this claim that if you are surrounded by people who think like you might be surrounded by people who think like you, but they want another product.
Yeah.
So it's like you show them the product and they're like, this is good, but this is not how I would make it. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm not you.
It's difficult because feedback's important, but like in music, like you have to make your own sound, and if people are gonna like adjust like what you have made, it's not your sound anymore. So it's just don't like a lot of artists say like don't take shit from people and like don't let them tell you how to make your music because it's your music. Like I'm the one that spent 50 hours on this song, and it's no one else.
Or else you end up like Drake with Tootsie Slide.
That's exactly what Drake in 2015 was the best. Like he's revolutionary. He completely changed the hip hop game, and then now he's making Tootsie Slide TikTok songs.
Yeah, man, he literally made an instructional song to dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, and then, I mean he has a Boeing 787 now, so whatever works for him, to be honest. But if it makes him his bank, then.
I mean, one other thing is like, have you worked with people abroad on pieces of music?
I don't like out of Europe or.
Yeah, no, like as in outside of the Netherlands.
I have a couple. I think this is one guy in Qatar that made music. I'd say he's a friend of mine. It's always that talk like, oh yeah, we should work together, and it never happens.
Oh,
It's like one of those cases. It's very hard to send like such big audio files across the world because they're like 3 gigabytes. Like,
Yeah.
And send it, you have to use WeTransfer and all that.
Yes.
It's terrible. And then he has to send it back, and then it's very difficult. So it's better if you're in the studio together.
Yeah, right. Ultimately, I mean, the reason why I asked that is because we had to collaborate with a company in Denmark to make some content, right? And transferring the files was insane, right? But also the ideas. So if I were like, hey, I want this podcast edited like this, to phrase it in a way that they
there's no
would
way.
pick up
There's
is
no way.
insane.
But
So
you guys have so much work because I have like one audio file. It's all like in one place, but you guys have like 5 cameras.
Yes.
Yeah, so like
lighting,
the
audio,
video
like,
files,
the
the audio
what's
files.
it called, the special effect.
Yeah.
So much more than it must be a pain.
Oh, but it is, but like that inherently calls for a bigger team, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, is that a lot of musicians are doing all of that on their own. Like, jokes aside, it's like, yeah, sure, it is one audio file, but it's like, to get to the final audio file, it takes years. Like, as you said, like, there are some songs that like you just have hogging on your laptop, just stalling.
I think every content producer or creator has like just stocks of just so much music or videos or whatever they make.
Yes. I mean, if you were to give advice to someone listening right now who's like, yo, I want to start making music, but I don't know anything about it, what would your first advice be?
People hate me for this, but when I say I hate FL Studios at Fruit Loops, I hate it because I'm not a fan of Windows.
FL Studio Fruit Loops?
Oh, I hate it, bro. It's terrible. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's like learning a language. If you learn Dutch and then you're asked to speak Chinese, you're not gonna switch. It's like I'm not going to switch from Logic Pro, which is what I use, to FL for no reason, because it wouldn't benefit me in any way.
I have experience with FL Studio.
You do?
You like it?
What's it like?
It's fairly, no, it's a little bit too simple for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You make music as well?
Oh, you just like
Yeah, I test it out here and there, you know, and yeah, I think like first when I found the UI of FL Studio,
Yeah.
I found it like it was pretty hard at first to find the right instrument and find the right sound that you want to, find the right like effect, but like once you get the hang of it, it's fairly simple.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's literally like learning a language. Like when you get the hang of it, you only develop. You watch tutorials of how to do this.
Yeah, but the hardest thing is to find the right sound, because
definitely.
like you have like a fuck ton of sounds in FL Studio.
Yeah. I think that's why samples are very important, because you go on Splice. I don't know if you know Splice. Splice is like a gold mine, like an absolute treasure for like any type of sample you want. Like you filter it out and you get any type of sample.
I mean, but that leads me to the next question, which is, I mean, for example, you release music on Spotify, right? So Spotify is extremely woke when it comes to content recycling or any sort of, policy breaking. Not with podcasting, because podcasting is fine, but with music-related productions, they're very, very, how do I say this in a PG way? They are
stingy.
Not really. They're just they're far up everyone's ass. That's what I mean. Like, ultimately, that's how I mean it. So I mean, with you, for example, you have to, when you're making a song for Spotify, you have to make everything original.
Yeah.
Right? So nothing can be reused. Nothing can be recycled. You can't even use it. Can you use it twice on 2 songs?
That's an interesting question. I'm not actually too sure of that, but
if you recycle like Blue, for example,
if I recycle my own song, no, I think because it's under the same artist name, I think so. But like for example, I have stuff released on SoundCloud, and if I use like my own SoundCloud sample, like it will get demonetized off YouTube.
Oh my god!
Because it's not like I'm not under the same name. Like on paper, I'm under the same name as SoundCloud and Spotify.
That's ridiculous indeed. But that, I mean, it's very important for our audience, because a lot of people forget that the most important part of any content production is knowing where to put it. So a lot of people just put it on SoundCloud, right? Which is
kind of like a draft for everyone.
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
Puts up there,
But it's like when you're on SoundCloud, I don't know if it's the most efficient thing, because as you said, it's like you can make a good song and get 200 views, But then it's like you make a good song and it just gets pushed by the algorithm, and then you end up getting 255,000 views in a reel. And that's
That was you.
So you see, like it's stuff when you don't want stuff to go, the algorithm will be like, "Oh, I hear fear," and it's like immediately just pushes your algorithm to hentai or whatever, to plot pages. So I mean, ultimately, look, I don't know if SoundCloud is the best. Spotify is like, I don't know if it pushes original content in any way.
There's this thing. If you have the Spotify Artist app, a week before your release of the music you want to release, you can pitch the song to like someone from Spotify, and then they'll put in like an algorithmic playlist. So like if you press like Quarantune and you press radio, and it'll give you like summer like type music.
But does it work in a way like Reels, for example, where like if a big content creator on Spotify likes your content, it immediately gets pushed to everyone else?
I think if it's shared and reposted by those types of people, but I'm not sure if. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that. So you already know what to do. Go on Quarantune, go on Blue, repost that, because they're actually fire, by the way. Like, jokes aside, I found it without knowing that it was actually Mathys.
Really?
Yeah, no jokes. Like, I literally found it because, and then I was like, yeah, this is fire. And then Sari was like, this is Mathys' song. I was like, this is what? I was like, this is what? So I mean, I think, but when you were making Quarantune, you didn't have like, this is gonna be a banger.
I mean, it's called Quarantune because I was just bored out of my mind during quarantine. And I was like,
so you just made it for the fuck of it, really?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, it's summer soon. Let's make people's summer vibes better. And I was like, okay, let's make a what's it called, a Vici type summer song. And I was like, okay.
But you made it your own style as well.
Yeah, to be honest, like a lot of people say that, but I have no clue what my style is. I still have to find myself.
To be honest, man, a lot of people say I'm funny. I don't know about that, but
Davide, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many would you rate for Quarantune?
For Quarantune, I would say, when I first heard it, I would say like a solid 9.
Oh.
Jokes aside, because I was literally in my room just vibing.
That's actually interesting.
Should I play the sample?
Oh, it's gonna be playing right now.
Oh yeah.
In the car. Yeah. It's my God.
Too much movement.
Oh, that's jokes.
Going off on a limb. Anyway. But it actually, it's really fire. The point is, I liked Quarantune more than Blue, which is weird because, as you said, like Blue got a lot more.
D&B is very niche.
Which?
D&B, like drum and bass is very like, not a lot of people like it compared to like, what's it called, commercial type music like Quarantune. That's the reason why I made
it. Though? If you just sat one day and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna make a song for TikTok and see how it goes.
You know, I've been wanting to do that, like make one of those like, let's get down to business, like that type of song, like it'll get so many views. I think that's the way to go. Go commercial first and then like kind of invest in like yourself and what your song.
Because as soon as you make a real song, you know who's gonna, you know who's gonna abuse it. You're gonna see me. Like,
and that guy, like the reels you have, the song Klaus Vane, Poison, like that, like I knew the song 2 years ago, and it blew up, and it had like I think 500,000 views. Now it's over like 3 million. All because of TikTok.
Yeah, because of TikTok. But that's the thing. Because of TikTok, you have all these people like Drake, right? You see slide into what, my guy?
Into money making.
Yeah, into money making. I mean, better than James Charles sliding into the DMs of 13-year-olds. But I mean, hey, you know, it's like to each their own. But like, I mean, ultimately, this brings me back to the final gap, which is, would you say that your growth as a musician, from your own point of view, right, when you're analyzing yourself, would you say you grew steadily, or was it like I became the master of fucking music making?
Did I? I think it was weird because when making beats, it just sounds repetitive, like extremely repetitive. But then at one point I was like, I should do something else, like something like that I listen to. Like I listen to techno so much, and I listen to house so much, probably more than any other genre. So I was like, okay, let's start making my first house track, and it came out like last year. 2019 on SoundCloud, and I was like, okay, this is okay. And then right from like that song, it was okay. The jump between that song and like my next release was like, wow, this quality has improved like massively.
But did you invest in new equipment?
The initial setup cost for like a studio is ridiculous.
Yes.
Like birthdays help because like grandparents,
Christmas, birthday,
Hanukkah.
Like, anything, bro.
Yeah, no. So like for a set, you probably know, but a set of speakers for the KRK speakers, Yamaha speakers, it's like 150, 200 per piece, so that's 400 gone.
If you get lucky on the bundle, you get that 300 euros for both.
Yeah. Even if you don't crack Logic Pro, get the real version, you pay 220 euros, I think. And then there's, you can use pads, you need your keyboard, obviously that would help massively, cost like 400 euros.
Yeah. Well, the good one, or else you can get the AliExpress 20 euro one and like deliver the worst piece of music ever.
But no, like now I'm sorted. I have a mic, it's okay. I don't really use my mic a lot, but like the setup cost is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we're the masters of mics.
Yeah, I can see.
The audience probably
1, 2,
noticed.
3.
Every season we change mics.
I think that's a good investment.
I mean, no, but it's not even a willing investment. It just happens.
Yeah, we kind of have like a different set of mic. Even like the mic that I'm using right now is completely new, brand new.
It's like a lavalier mic or whatever.
Yeah, like
it's the one like you clip on, right?
Yeah, but somehow I don't see the clip. So,
it is what it is.
I'm gonna send some angry letters.
Yeah, to lavalier. Just be like, hello, sir.
Yeah, you forgot my clip.
Give me my clip, bruh. But ultimately, I mean, so you see an exponential growth.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
I think
if you don't, I'd say like if you don't see growth in like for me 4 or 5 years, maybe just not do music. Like you can, but like.
I mean, I don't know. Like some people, for example, they take their music and they make it into like they know they're bad at it.
Yeah.
So they make like Twitch accounts where they make bad music and people love it. I don't know why.
There's a lot of what's it called? There's a market for like those TikTok stupid songs that like it's like a 7-second like sample of just like a stupid song. You post and it goes crazy viral on TikTok. TikTok is like a very good.
I think TikTok is like, it's like the gateway for musicians to just get that mega boost. But it's like, for example, we got approached by this Indian company, It's like they have this huge app in India, and it's a mad, it's like
Yeah.
well, how many users? Like 2 million users on the Indian app that approached us.
Rizzle?
Yeah, Rizzle. There you go. Rizzle approached us.
Yeah, I think they're called Rizzle, but yeah, around 2 millions. But I think like half of them, or like most of them, are Indians.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What they do?
They're like this Indian TikTok thingy. So they call themselves like TikTok, but legal in US.
Yes.
So what they do?
Just like short stories or like.
Like for example, like for us like content creators, we can make like short TikToks clips or like short TV series that last for like from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And you would get like instructions, and support from promotions from Rizzle themselves.
The thing is, the problem with that is A, I hate TikTok. B,
love
you
it.
won't see me doing TikTok dances anytime soon, bro. That's all I'm saying. But like ultimately, I think with that app is also like storytelling
Yeah.
from us to get an audience that is like mainly Indian, right? So they go on it for Indian content, and then they find like typical white guy dancing to Ariana Grande or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
no,
And it's like
no, and the thing is like the music library from Rizzle is most of them are from Bollywood.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
I don't think they fit in the Dammslap right now.
that would be dope.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not gonna lie.
yeah, that's why we didn't go with
Cultural
with Rizzle.
appropriation.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I would just go there and be like, yeah, boys, I'm Indian. Don't worry, it's me. It's
Yes.
your boy.
You got the nose.
I mean, with that, is there anything else you would like to mention?
Yeah, no, nothing too big. Because in celebration of finishing exams, I kind of want to put something out for summer. Not like a Quarantune Part 2, but like something that like everyone likes, very commercial, so that I make my money,
Yeah,
pay my
fair.
debt,
Fair enough.
pay my rent for student housing.
Oh yes, I would love that too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It sounds
Are you
stupid.
gonna call it Quarantune?
Thanks, that
You
was
saw
it.
it right here. It's watermarked. The name is mine. If he uses it, it's 50%.
Patent pending.
Sign the NDA.
Patent pending.
Oh fuck. Well, ultimately, I have like 2 fast questions.
Go on.
Answer them as best as you can. If you had the choice, where would you want to live? It doesn't matter where. Just like if you have a specific spot, let me know.
I think Cape Town.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard
Cape Town.
that's in that city.
Yeah.
I've never seen photos of
Camps
it.
Bay, Cape Town's view on the sea. So and then maybe Middle East because I have something with Middle East because I've lived there for 8 years.
Oh, okay. So you have that.
Middle East is lovely, absolutely nice.
Nice. Well, I think the audience knows by now what my choice is, right? Like, I mean, I've said it several
what is your
times.
Say it every single.
My
podcast.
choice, I'll say it on this one as well. My choice used to be Japan, but it
Like
shifted.
every single white kid ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
like every
Because you used to be a weeaboo.
Oh yeah. It was
Kawaii.
Kawaii desu ne. Sugoi. Sukhoi. Okay, never mind. Main point being, I shifted it to South Korea because of like their technological development
Yeah.
and like their approach to tech and
Why
everything.
not China?
Why not China? To be honest, I don't think I have a reason not to go to China, but
Too many people.
For me, my perception on China is that I haven't really had a big picture of how Chinese media works.
yeah, I don't think it
And
works.
even
Privacy
yeah,
intruding.
I don't think media in China works.
and-
No, they don't. It's all government.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
imagine
and
me
like
just going
even
there.
dude,
Yeah,
like-
so you don't have like media freedom.
yes,
whatever you wanna call
and
it.
like I live with 4 Chinese roommates,
Mm-hmm.
and I have heard absolutely nothing
Mm-hmm.
about like Chinese media or what's trending in China or like
There's this like this
energy.
Chinese like Facebook type thing. It's like
Weibo.
massive.
yeah.
What's it called?
I think it's called Weibo.
So it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you know, like yeah, like
it's like a seventh
in
of the world just uses that.
It's huge.
yeah, in my house, in my household, they don't contact each other through WhatsApp. They contact each other through WeChat, and I don't have a WeChat account, so I'm always out of the loop.
Is WeChat Chinese? No, right?
Oh yeah, they're Chinese.
Really?
Yeah,
What was the phone brand from China? The
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Like they release Their phones are insanely high quality, and then they're like 200 euros.
Is that the one you showed?
Yeah, that's the one that I showed you, right? With the 5 cameras, whatever. It looks super pristine.
What's the
200
camera?
euros. That's what I mean. That's
What's
what I
the
mean. As an
catch?
Apple user, I look at
Probably
that
your
and I'm like,
privacy,
bro.
like you're mic'd up.
Yeah,
everywhere.
probably
Yeah,
your
yeah.
privacy, and like I think the phone will short-live. Will be very short-lived.
Yeah.
Like that
What
1 year
battery
warranty.
does it have? Like lithium battery, like the
Gamma
it takes in,
radiation
like,
straight
1
from
hour.
the phone. Yeah, exactly. Like you put it in the soil and like a tree comes out and it like skulls on the fruits. Yeah, like I don't know, with the red flag of communism. Ay, ay, ay.
My new chain go watch made in
I
China.
know. Anyway, yeah, this turned to a podcast, a communist podcast, so I shall probably end it now. Before
Well, I
it
mean,
goes off the rails anymore.
I'm from Vietnam. It's always
Yeah,
been.
we're already invaded by
Yeah.
the communist. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
We already have a Russian employee as well, so I gotta be careful with this shit.
Da.
Da. Ito the Dammslap. That's Japanese.
Yes.
Sumi.
Hi.
Anyway. Thank you guys for joining for today's podcast. Thank you, Matthias, for joining
Thank
us.
you,
Check
Dominic.
out on Spotify. Anywhere else? Instagram?
I think it's hard to find me on Spotify because I'm such a small scale.
No worries, we're gonna link it.
Humble hero.
Yeah, just look in their bio in this.
Yeah. And the Instagram is...
Put in bio.
it's gonna be there anyway. They can read.
Tice Abe.
Yeah, Tice
Tice
Nice. And it's pretty dope. I would recommend. Quarantune, definitely my favorite tune. We're gonna exploit it for
Yes.
copyright issues. Yeah?
What's my cut?
Yeah, the cut. Yeah. The
Wait.
audience, go sub. I don't know.
Wait, you have to give us the license to promote the
Yeah,
song.
you have my full license. It's on camera now, so yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Dammslap podcast. Later.